Hi there, welcome. Welcome to my weekly Oracle readings and Oracle tip class. Um, Today, before I do the readings for us, I'm going to be talking a little bit about how to work with Oracle cards with your altar, because it's a really it's at the heart of my Oracle practice myself. And yeah, so I'm going to be sharing a little bit about that. Hello, thank you. Oh, hi, Abby. Hi, 33 Jing, Queen of Roses, Rachel. So good to see you all. Um, and yes, I'm just trying to see if I can see their Facebook comments now. Let me see if I can get onto Facebook just to check that everything's working there. Um, so Yes, awesome. And I'm also going to be letting you know, you may have already seen, I've got two things on this week. One for today is there's a special on the becoming a certified Oracle card reader course. It's a Hay House course. I'm one of the teachers, and it's 60% off at the moment. So, yeah, if you'll find the link in the comments below on Instagram. My team will put it there, as well as on Facebook, or you'll find it in my profile or on my website if you're interested in that. And then also, I'm hosting another Sacred Live experience on Thursday, which is free. It's part of the Finding the Sanctuary Within live experience. We did the first one last Thursday. It was so beautiful. It was an honoring endings ritual, which you can definitely find. Like if you already signed up, maybe you're doing me live, but you can get the replay too. So you just need to head to rebeccacampbell.me/live, and you can get that honoring endings ritual sacred experience and do it whenever you want. But this Thursday, we are going to be doing the Uncover Your Heart's Deepest Prayer live experience. So I'll be doing a beautiful meditation, some soul inquiry, opening the sacred container. So similar, but it's a different vibe this time. And so, yeah, you can get both of them. Then, so you basically we had like 900 people at the honoring endings ritual. Yeah, Abby, you do need to sign up. Oh, for the card draw. Yeah, in a moment I'll put a call out for the card reading. But yeah, we had 900 people for the honoring endings ritual, and yeah, this so we've got a capacity of 1,000. So make sure that you do sign up, and you end up like joining a little bit early, just to make sure you get through to that. And yeah, the card reading course, like becoming a certified card reader, that's 60% off until midnight tonight. So yeah, I'll make sure that the link is posted here as well if you're interested in that. Okay, so I want to talk a little bit about using oracle cards for altar work. I really like altar work as a way of, well, I mean, it's a way of working with the elements, working with the physical, and definitely working with beauty. Beauty, I think, is a gateway to the soul. But on top of that, on top of it being like a beautiful practice, and I think when we work with beauty, we end up entering into a state of awe. And so, yeah, so when we enter into a state of awe, I think our soul comes more fully into our body. And so we're able to have more of an embodied experience of the sacred. And using oracle cards is one of my favorite ways to embody the sacred. You'll see behind me, I've got lots of altars. I've got one there as well. I've got one right here to my right, to my left. I love altars. My altar work did begin with just like my bedside table when I lived in a share house, and now it's like my entire life is filled with altars. And one of my weekly rituals with my team is actually we take it in turns of pulling a card for the week, and then we create an altar, each of us, around that card. So my personal card for last week was this Release the Petals card, which I love. This is from the Rose Oracle. And it's a beautiful card that reminds me of the ever-changing nature of life and change and yeah, how we need to kind of embrace and release those petals, loosen our grip on the leaves, and especially this time of year in the northern hemisphere, in order to bloom again come spring and summer and all of that. And actually, it's the card that I pulled and used as inspiration for the Honoring Endings ritual, where I've got part of it here. I'm returning it to the earth this week. So yeah, the altar I created had rose hips in it. As you can see here, the rose hip is the fruit that is created once the rose releases its petals. And so I had green ones as well to represent the changing nature. And then I had these I actually had one rose left in my garden, which I used. I actually picked for this particular altar. This is what's left of the rose now. We did the ritual, I don't know if you can see that, last Thursday, but it was really beautiful. And yeah, I used soil and some of the rose leaves and thorns, etc. And so it was really all using this card, this oracle card of Release the Petals, transformation, death and rebirth, shedding, all change, as the center point of that altar. So you can really you can create, say, a weekly altar or a monthly altar, or an altar on something in particular. In my membership, and then I also do this visioning process every December. We've got a new updated one coming in December, the 2023 visioning process. Part of that process is creating doing an oracle spread, and then creating an altar around your heart's deepest prayer for the year ahead. And so yeah, that's another way you can do it. So it can be like a yearly altar. So yeah, and particularly if you find that you are, hi Ruby, if you are pulling the same card over and over again, it's such a beautiful practice to create an altar around it, especially if like there's, you do find the oracle card extremely beautiful. It's a way of like properly anchoring it in. When it comes to altar work, it is like traditional to work with the elements. And so, for example, I've got behind me fire with the candle. I've got water in the rose vase over there, as well as I've got these two little vases that were my grandma's, which always has water in it. And then I've got incense behind me. I'm not sure if you can see, actually behind the Release the Petals card there, to represent air as well. So yes. Tia says, I've pulled Wastelands 4 times in a matter of weeks. Wow, that's amazing. It's interesting. I did a whole lot of readings last night, and I pulled the Wastelands so many times. The Wastelands and Trust the Seasons. So maybe it's that time of year. Maybe there's a collective theme there. Yes. Any books in the works? Yes. Not very, very soon. I've got an oracle before the book, but yeah, next year the plan is to begin writing again. I've written a lot of stuff. I just haven't. Yeah, it's just finding the structure. Abby says, can you chat about what you do with your altars, how you use them? For sure. So how I'll begin is I'll get clear on what the altar is going to represent. And the way you can do it with using oracle cards as the inspiration is just pulling the card, like asking for a card for the day, or noticing like we just had the Wastelands card coming up over and over again. So going, okay, I'm going to take this card and I'm going to create an altar around it. An altar is essentially an altered space. And so really what you're doing is creating a sacred space. If you're using oracle cards, you can just do, like I've got just right there, I've got the Release the Petals card there, and around it, and I've actually got Release the Petals card right here in front of me as well, and I'll show you what I've got in it. Around it, I gather sacred objects. So this tends to be a base of my altars a lot. It's my favorite candle holder. It's a white rose candle holder. And then I've got these beautiful roses that I got on the weekend. They're just so stunning. So this is a very, very simple altar. And then I've got this beautiful goddess statue here that I've got resting. And then some incense as well. So it's a very, very simple altar. And then I've got the card resting here on the Rose Oracle, so against it. But yeah, you can obviously like use the box as well to place the card in any way that you want. Or there's other ways to kind of, yeah, like hold up the card. But yeah, I always use the card as a center point and then gather items around it, doing my best to represent it all. And then I've got some rose hips as well that I've just created a circle around it. So yeah, so where possible, try and use the different elements, but yeah, but also just like work with what you've got. Like you could work with maybe if you don't have like maybe you've got some like herbs that are expiring, and so you're like, okay, I'm going to add them to my altar kit. Or even things like rice or lentils or whatever. I might, if things in the kitchen are going to go off for consumption, I might keep them in order to create beautiful things with my altars. Of course, like statues and crystals and candles and all of those kind of things. I'll often create an altar with my son as well. Like we'll go out on a walk and like gather like fallen acorns and dried up leaves and create something beautiful. So you don't have to go out and spend loads of money. You can really work with what appears for you. But I think the first thing is to work out what the theme is for your altar. And that's why I like using oracle cards in that way. So I let the card be the theme and then let the things around it emerge. How often do I change my altar? It's a good question. I want to say like about once a week, but it's not always that regimented. I sometimes, so I've got like a bigger altar down below in the fireplace. I don't change that one very much, but I know when it's time to change it. Same with some of the ones I've got on windowsills. I'll feel that the energy feels complete, and then I'll do a big clear out and shift, and then change it as well. So yes. So some are longer, but the way I know is some of them I try and do a weekly one, so it's like it's part of my practice, my ritual. But others, it's purely energetic, like just that feeling that you know when it's time to shift things up. And I always feel so good when I do shift things up. And whether you're like offering some of the natural ingredients back to the earth, or just like putting some statues away in cupboards and then just leaving the space blank and seeing what wants to come through. So yes, that is how I do it, and roughly how often I change my altar. So yes, so I'm going to be now going into doing a few readings. And yeah, I'm going to use the Rose Oracle because it's my favorite. And And yeah, so if you just let me know if you would like a reading, and I will select some names. Okay, so Shanty Girl, yours is The Return, which is all about a new story. You decide. It's really an opportunity card. It's about things coming together, alignment, so going, like, embracing things that are changing, embracing the flow. So it's a really positive card, and a confirmation card that you're heading in the right direction. Okay, Becca, a reading for you. The Anointed, answer the call, leadership, empowerment, soul gifts. A super powerful one as well. Similar-ish energy, but yeah, this is like, again, a positive confirmation card. It's quite powerful. I'm not sure if you can see in the image, but it's a woman. She's really in the upward motion. She's like rising. She's like, okay, I'm doing this. I'm ready. I'm going for it. So yeah, so this is either confirmation that you're already doing it, or if there's something that you're like, oh, should I do this? Like, should I write this book? Should I take this leap? Should I be courageous in this way? And that's the confirmation that is being shown here. Gerardian, for you. The Breathing Rose. So yeah, this is a very much a healing card. And Lolly Doon, I'm going to do your reading next. So if you just stay on there for that. But yeah, the Breathing Rose, it is really a heart healing card. It is one of tenderness and compassion, and yeah, it is like that. Like, maybe you're experiencing grief, whether it's like your own or an ancestral collective type grief. Maybe you're going through a difficult time. So it's kind of like time does ease it. You are going to get through it. Connection is the antidote for disconnection. So it's like, how can you soften your heart? How can you keep your heart open through the extremes, through the heartache and sorrow? And, I think that on some level, many of us are feeling that for the world. And many of us are going through big periods of transformation ourselves as well. So this is very much a heart healing card, and that time does ease it. Okay, so Lolly Doon, card for you. Healing is happening. Healing is happening. So beautiful, this card. It really is an invitation to look at healing in a different way. I think very much in the wellness world, we can see healing as like this perfection state, this state where we need to like reach a certain level of like completeness before we can feel like we're whole or healed. But when we look at nature, nature's showing us that we're ever-changing beings in an ever-changing world. And, we don't just look at the rose like in its full bloom as the only healed state of the plant. We just see that the plant's changing. But with us as humans, particularly like in our colonial patriarchal world, this period that we have chosen to incarnate in, there's been this obsession with the bloom and this like dismissal and unappreciation of the more initiatory, feminine, darker, transformative stages of our growth. We know with the rose, when it does, with like I was talking about the release the petals card before, when it does release the petals, the rose hip can come. And the rose hip is so packed in vitamin C. And yeah, and so it's like, who's to say that the rose hip is less healed than the bloom? And so this card really is an invitation to trust the process of your healing and to realize that you're not broken and that we're forever in a state of returning to wholeness, because wholeness isn't perfection. Wholeness is embracing our true nature, which is ever changing. So this is an encouraging card when we're going through difficult periods. But it's also a card to like really trust in the process and trust in our inner winter, trust in our autumn, trust in the change that we're going through. So yes. So Mandy Hendricks, thank you for the badge. I've got a card for you. These new badge things, I don't quite understand how it works, but I've seen it come up. Oh, this is the card of the mystic, Sub Rosa. It is really a card of hidden mysteries. It's the card of the mystic. It's the card of people who are dedicated to properly living the question. This card can often come up when you're being called to deepen your studies, maybe. So maybe you're being called to take a new training or a new course, or enter into a deeper relationship with the great mysteries. And the great mysteries are all around us. And the more we know, the less we know, and for certain, and all of that. And so this doesn't have to be like a structured learning where it's like, oh, going to do a training in X. It could be. It might be to really live into the question of your life rather than being like, I need a finite answer. Or it could be just to really find that area that you're fascinated by and to dive deep into it. So it's a wisdom keeper card. It's a card that is really inviting us to both learn and teach. And we do realize that the further we get along on the spiritual journey, and particularly if we are guided to be a guide for others, we can't do that unless we see ourselves and life as the teacher and us as the eternal student. The best teachers are the ones that never stop learning, never stop living into the question, rather than being like, I'm certain that this is the way. So yeah, it's a very, very, very deep wisdom card there for you, Mandy. Okay, let's see. Just catching up with everyone. Okay, Megan, Megana, a card for you. Let's go there. Ah, another one. Similar train. I love when we have a double card message like this. The Mystic Rose. It is the card of the mystic, but it's a card of, it's linked to Mother Mary, this card. So it's devotion, it's compassion, it's humility, it's showing up to daily practice. It's all about like returning to the heart. So it's like, how can you be compassionate with the world? How can you be compassionate with yourself? How can you really, truly surrender into a place of deep devotion and grace? So if you feel like you're kind of in the treadmill of life a little bit, this is the invitation to come back to the heart of your heart. Come back to the deepest devotion that you have within you. And really tending to the flame of the heart. So a really, really beautiful one. Okay, the Chi Facility. Okay, one for you. The Chi Facility. I think Kyle Gray might be here because I can see some comments about Kyle. Beautiful Kyle. He's got a new deck out. Raise Your Vibration. It's actually just over there. Such a good deck for it's like really quick, almost like affirmation type messages. That's the type of oracle it is. It's linked to his book as well. But yeah, he's the deck's great. I was messaging Kyle the other day about that, like just instant hits of guidance. So Chi Factor, a card for you. Woohoo! Very powerful, this one. Temple of the Rose. This is the card of Mary Magdalene, of Isis, of the ancient, powerful, rising feminine, which of course exists within all of us. But it's like the spiraling fire within. It is all about ancient power, and it often comes up as an invitation for expression. So sacred expression. So that could be creative expression. It might be through really being activated through your awakening process. But it is like a very sensual, powerful, passionate card. And it is very linked with wisdom again. So we've got that theme of wisdom with us today. But yeah, I do really see this card as being quite linked to Mary Magdalene, Isis, and like the ancient wise feminine, the serpent power. So yeah, really lovely card for you. Sacred expression, exactly, Julie. Okay, Teresa, a card for you. Whoo! Nice segue to the thorn. You can see some rose hips in this card as well. And yeah, the thorn is the thing that protects the bloom. So, it's so important. Most people, when they think of the rose, it's like, oh, beautiful bloom. It's all about love and blah, 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 blah. But really, the thorn protects the bloom. It allows the bloom to open. And so this is really a card of protection, of boundaries, of clarity, of clear communication. Clear communication is so important, particularly in relationships that we want to feel secure and safe in. Without that clarity of communication, resentment can build up, and also it can feel like a little unsafe because we're not speaking the truth. It's also can cause like deep heartbreak when relationships just kind of like fizzle out or fade away if things haven't been communicated clearly. Now, it doesn't mean that when we're being called to communicate clearly, like it has to be really, really, really scary and kind of like abrupt and kind of, sharp and jagged and, forced. We can communicate clearly with deep compassion. And it is really the best way to create safety and deep connections in our life. Of course, not all relationships are meant to be there for every season of our life. Some can come in and out, like the tides and the seasons. And of course, some are there with us the whole time. And especially those ones, clear communication with compassion is really, really, really important and such a gift. Deuce team, do you ever use other decks for these? I have them, but not this one, the rose. Yeah. I just love the rose deck, and that's my go-to at the moment. But yeah, Work Your Light, Starseed Oracle, I definitely use them as well. So yes. Okay, well, thank you so much for joining me today. It's been amazing. Yeah, it's just so nice to connect. If you would like to join me for the Uncover Your Heart's Deepest Prayer, you can join me at rebeccacampbell.me/live. That's this Thursday. It's a free experience, and you'll also automatically get the Honoring Endings ritual that we did last week. And then there's also the special of 60% off for the card reader certification course. So maybe you want to just get better at doing readings for yourself and your friends, or maybe you're wanting to learn just more of the basics, or around card reading professionally for other people. Maybe you're a coach and you already do sessions, and then you want to deepen the the grounding container for you to prepare for those sessions, to bring in a little bit more intuition. I find card reading so helpful in providing a grounded structure, to let the intuition come in. So if you would like to explore that more, I know it's 60% off at the moment, which is really good. I think it's until tonight. So I'll make sure that link is here as well. So yes, well, have a wonderful evening or afternoon or morning, and I hope to see you again on here soon.